I'm back with some more park action. And last night, the Thunder did go up 3-1 on the Warriors. I'll talk about that series in another video again, but right now we got to talk about the matchup happening tonight, the Cavs and the Raptors. This is a really interesting series because everyone pretty much wrote off the Raptors, including me. Before this series started, I thought for sure it was going to be a 5-game series. I figured the Raptors would win one of their home games, but that would be it. But now they've won 2 home games, and similar to the Thunder and Warriors series, it seems like the Raptors have figured out something. They figured out how to play with the Cleveland Cavaliers. In the first game, if you remember, the Raptors got destroyed in the paint. And what happened was they saw the Cavaliers having all that success with 3-pointers in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. So they said, you know what, we're going to come out, we're not going to double team, we're not going to leave people open for 3. That was their strategy, and the Cavaliers, they just lived in the paint. They were dominating, everybody was getting into the paint, they were making layups, they got destroyed. So they come out in the second game, and they try to adjust the strategy, but they still kind of stuck by that. They didn't want to double team, they wanted to go one-on-one and basically just try to protect the paint, but it didn't work. It was a little bit better. Like in the first half, they did a little bit better than they did. But then, of course, at the end of the first half, they allowed that big run, and that's when they got out of the game. But then in games 3 and 4, it's as if a light switch was flipped, and they figured out how they needed to play to stay in the series and stay in the games with the Cavaliers. And that's what makes Game 5 so interesting. Because mentally, I don't know what's happening with the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're seeing Kevin Love, he's starting to choke again. He's starting to play bad. He's starting to look like a bum. And he's no Chris Bosh. He is not a good defender. They're even running whoever offense on Kevin Love. His defense is so bad that if he's not scoring offensively, there's no reason for him to be on the floor. Fry plays better than he does. And then Bismack Biyombo is outplaying Tristan Thompson. This is an interesting series. I believe Valanciunas is coming back tonight. So the Raptors are going to get some extra firepower. And if you've watched their series against the Heat, Valanciunas was beasting and feasting in the paint. So now you add in him with Bismack Biyombo and Kevin Love struggling and mentally. And then, of course, some of these other players like J.R. Smith. You never know what he's going to do. A lot of times he chokes. Like last year in the finals, he disappeared. He played good in the playoffs. He played all right in the playoffs, but in the finals, he completely disappeared. He had so many open looks, and you just don't know if that's going to happen again. And this was really my concern with the Cavaliers. I didn't think it would happen in the Eastern Conference, but I knew that going up against either the Spurs, the Thunder, or the Warriors, when LeBron James goes to the bench, how is that team going to react? How are they going to play? Are they going to look like the bums that they looked like in the finals? Obviously, they had injuries, but still, even without the injuries, something happens to the Cavs when LeBron goes to the bench. They're just not the same. They don't have the same firepower to last, and that's normally when they start to lose the lead or kind of fall out of the game. And the scary thing is that LeBron James in Game 4, he was the passive LeBron James again. He did not take a shot in the last 3 to 5 minutes of the game. And the Cavs, they even got back into the game. They took the lead. So when they took the lead, I said, yeah, that's when they're going to come back. And look at that splash. Look at that step back, perfect release splash. So when they took that lead, I said, yeah, they're back in it. They're getting this game. It's going to be over in 5. And then LeBron James does not even attempt a jump shot. And I know you've seen it. I know you've seen Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. I know you've seen ESPN. They're ripping LeBron James for not taking any shots in that fourth quarter at the end of the game to close it out. And that's a bad sign when LeBron goes into passive mode, because if LeBron James simply plays as the desperate version we saw in the finals last year, when he knew that he had to put the team on his back because of all the injuries, if he plays like that in that kind of attack mode, we would not be talking about this series right now. They would be wrapping it up tonight. And this is the thing. The Raptors are fired up right now. You see the camera. You see the pit. You see the fans in the pit. When they show the fans in that pit, it's epic. They're fired up. They were not supposed to be in this series. Everybody wrote them off. They're getting some firepower back. They have confidence now after winning 2 straight. And all it takes is one bad game. Any team can have a bad game. What if the Cavs have a bad game tonight and they go down 3-2? That would be a murder. Could you imagine LeBron James, the rage, if he cannot get past the Toronto Raptors? The next 5 to 6 seasons would be a nightmare because he was always having to deal with the Western Conference teams, preparing himself to deal with them. But if he has to put up a fight in the Eastern Conference, if he has to struggle to get back to the finals again, wouldn't that be a popcorn city offseason? Wouldn't you love to see what happens in the offseason? Kevin Love would get traded. They will trade Kevin Love. They will make moves. Maybe LeBron James will leave again.
Jeez.
Nah, I don't think he's going to leave again, but this is scary because before the Cavs made these moves, I said, there's no way this Cavaliers team is going to win a championship with this lineup. When they picked up Fry really helps out. He fits in really well, makes that team so much better. And honestly, with Fry working out so well, they don't even need Kevin Love. Can you imagine if they would have just kept Andrew Wiggins? They would have had Kyrie, Wiggins playing defense and scoring, LeBron James. They made a mistake trading for Kevin Love. He is no Chris Bosh. They want him to be the Chris Bosh. Look at this chaos. We're trying to end this game. I'm doing a crossover. I step back for the win in his face. Got him. You can't miss tonight's game because you have to see what happens. I mean, maybe Cleveland has a bad game. You know the Raptors are going to be fired up. The only thing is that the Raptors, you can't really trust them on the road because these guys, somebody usually struggles. It might be Lowry, it might be DeRozan. Somebody usually has a bad game, but who knows with the confidence they built up in the last 2 games? Let me know what you think. Don't help now. Don't help. Good defense. There you go. Getting a block. Corey Brewer, we need something. We need this. We need momentum. James Harden with the ferocious slam. We just got to leave this first half behind us. A very bad half.